Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's tutorial. And in today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you guys how to make this outfit. If this is something you'd like to learn, let's just get right into the video. So we'll start by rolling our starting line. This is an off-shoulder dress. So after doing that, either you minus 5, 6 or 7, but I actually worked with 7. So after minusing 7, we're just going to mark our bust measurements. So from the -7, that's where you mark your bust measurement, and then we'll mark our under bust measurement. And after taking that, we're just going to mark our waistline measurement, our front waistline measurement. We're going to take that. After taking our front waist measurement, we're just going to come down by 8 inches. This is for our hip line, and then we're just going to roll. So we'll see the lines that we're actually working with. So regardless of your measurements, you're just going to take it just like so. So after rolling our lines, the next thing we're going to do, I came down by 5 inches for our upper nail line. So by the time we're taking our measurement, it's going to have a shape, um going to be shaped around the nail line. So from the bust point, I'm coming up by 2 inches, which is for our chest line. So we're just going to roll and then our label, our chest line, our bust point line, under bust point, under bust line, waist, our hip and upper nail line. So on the bust point, we're taking our bust measurement divided by 4 plus whichever sewing allowance that works for you. So I went ahead to take the under bust measurement as well, so it's going to be shaped. And after that, we take our waist measurement divided by 4 plus sewing allowance as well, and then your hip measurement as well divided by 4 plus sewing allowance. So around the upper nail measurement, I minus 2 from the hip line measurement, so it's going to be shapey at that point. So we're just going to connect our line. So the same thing you took at the bust point, that's exactly the same thing you're going to take at the chest line. So the chest line and the bust point, they will meet together, and then after you roll just like so, and then you're just going to curve to the under bust. We took the under bust measurement, we didn't just go straight to the waistline, we took the under bust measurement. So you're just going to connect just like so, and then connect back to the waistline measurement just like so, and then we'll connect to the hip line because we took the chest, the bust, under bust, waist, and then the hip line, so we can have that um shape out, so hourglass shape out. So we're just going to do that, and then I'm using my free hand to connect, although I'll use the marker so it will be clear. Now, from what we have from the thumbnail, it's actually how the lady shape is, but sometimes when you're making a dress, it's better to give it, the shape, so the dress will follow that pattern and move perfectly. So you can see how it is from our measurements. So after that, we're done with this. So we're just going to cut out, because this is just it, and I did not add that to this. So if you want to add that, it's fine. If you don't want to add that, you can minus that from your measurement. So if your measurement is 10, you can take out, you can make it 9.5. So now for the material, we're just going to throw like a cut, because it's not tight at the end, it has like a flay. So we're going to throw a cut before placing our material on it, I mean our drafted sheet on it. And at this point, we're just going to look for the length of what we want to work with. So now, from the drafted sheet, it got to our upper nail line. So like now, when you want to cut, you have to cut for the full part. So you are going to start from your drafted sheet, and then take to the full point. So I added about 1 inches sewing allowance again. After I have added, I think I added about 1 inches to my drafted paper, so I added again to it, so I have something to work with. So you can see how I'm using my free hand to make a cut shape, despite the fact I even had to throw it a cut, because it is not tight or fitted from the hip down, it is a bit free. So after doing that, we're just going to cut out, like this is just it for the front, like I said, because I don't want the darts. If you want the darts, remove the darts from your measurements. That's exactly what I did. I forgot to explain that. So like if your bust measurement is about um 10 inches, you can as well do like 9.5. Like you're just from the waist side, you can just take your waist. After you've taken your waist measurement, you can just remove the darts from that area. So I'm placing it on another material that I've thrown a cut again. This is for the back. So all I did is to just add about 2 inches, 1.5, 1 inches, whichever that works for you. This is basically just for the zipper. And then the next thing I did was to, around the back there, I had to drop down the back a little bit, so it's not going to be on the same length with the front. And please, there is a mistake I actually made at this point. After you've dropped down, make sure your front and your back armhole, like, they meet together. I actually forgot that, so please don't forget when you're making yours. Make sure the back and the front armhole, they meet together, so when you are joining, it's not going to be a problem. And every other thing is basically tracing. So you're just going to cut out, sorry, the end part isn't showing, but I'm just tracing exactly what I did for the front. So now for the back, around the waistline, we're just going to come in by 0.5 half inches, like, for our back contouring. So when we place our zip, like, this zip will not be bulging out. So we're just going to cut out and open, and basically we are done with the back and the front. So now for the sleeve, like, our material is folded into two. Now this sleeve, I actually made this one to be very bold, and if you don't want yours to be very bold, I worked with 9 inches. That's like opening 18 inches. So if you don't want yours to be very fat, you can work with 9 inches for all of them. So when you fold, you have 4.5, 4.5. By the time you join together, you have just 4 inches. That way it won't be as fat or wide as this. You can see how it is when I opened. So after that, for the pleating part, there's a pleating part, so you can just work with 4 inches. So by the time you join the end and join it to the main material, like, you'll be left with about 3 inches or 2.5. So basically that just it. So this smaller part is for the pleating on the main bodies. So now, on the neck of our dress, I went ahead to use hemming gum to hold it down because I don't want any sewing line to be showing. And then for this is for the back as well. You can see how it is, and I did that as well for the other part. But if you want to use a bias strip to turn it to, is completely fine. But I felt like that wouldn't be neat. So this is what this other pieces looks like after I had gone and ahead to pleat and to sew the end part of it. So after doing this, you just pleat it on the main dress just as it is shown on the thumbnail. Like, I don't have all of that because I actually lost my videos. That's why I'm just sharing only this so you can see how it's looking. So this is what it looks like, and you will just pleat it on your main material. Now that you've turned the neck, you just go ahead and close the bodies of it and add your zipper, add your sleeve, and then you add this other parts, pleated parts as well, whichever way you want to design it, even if you want to go out of what the thumbnail is looking like. So this is our sleeve. This is what it looks like. So the way I actually achieved this sleeve is by joining the sleeve which I cut together. Like, I just brought it together just like so and closed it. You can see how it is. And then I started making some pleats on it. This is my first pleat, and then after doing that, I made a second pleat again on it just like so. And if yours is smaller than this, it won't be as fat as this. So, and that's completely fine, to be exactly what the thumbnail is looking like. So you just pleat like this until you get to the end part. So like I said, most of my videos go missing. I don't really have what to show how it looks like, but if you follow what I have explained, you definitely get it. So basically, that's just everything for this tutorial. So thank you so much for watching. I'll definitely see you in my next video. You can see how the pleating is. You can just pleat like that and it will come out perfectly for you. So please subscribe to my channel, drop your questions, and bye for now.